place of the mentor in terms of the stages of life is between youth and the elders. Youth are imbued with imagination, dreams, excesses of all kinds, intended to keep the world going in an exaggerated way. And elders are supposed to be more descended, more settling, not settling down and retiring, that's a modern idea, more settling down into the depths of the soul and more polishing the wisdom they've gathered from life in order to keep things going for a long time and in order to keep things connected, one thing to another. Mentoring is somewhere in between. There are certain tribes in Africa that refer to the practice of mentoring as practice eldering, that the mentors are practicing to be elders. So mentors are like in the in-between place. They're still developing their own wisdom, hopefully, but in the meantime, they're able to somewhat help and guide younger people as well. Another old idea, whatever a person learns and doesn't give will rot in their mind. So mentoring is partly based on the idea of having learned something and giving it away or using it. In the act of giving away what one has learned, a person creates room to learn more, to grow more. So mentoring is kind of a giving in one sense and kind of a guiding in another sense. The word enters the Western languages through the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, where mentor comes upon the scene on the coast by the water when young Telemachus, who's the son of Odysseus, the son of Ulysses. Ulysses has gone off to war and can't find his way back. And his son, Telemachus, is left there, and he's too young to rule, take over the rulership of the country. And so what's happened is a bunch of marauders have come in, and they're running the country. Sound familiar? And they're running the country, and they're draining all the resources from the country. And Telemachus is just too young to do anything about it, but he knows something is deeply wrong and something's being lost, and he's walking on the beach lamenting the condition of the culture and lamenting his own inability to do something about it, and that's when he encounters Mentor. Mentor begins to talk to him about his troubles. Now it turns out that Mentor is a sailor, so that gives you the notion that mentoring is like sailing, and sailing is always correcting the course. A sailing ship is never on course, it's always off course, and sailing is putting it back on course or correcting the course, and mentoring is like that, trying to get things back on course culturally and then trying to get young people onto the course that's meaningful in their life. And so Mentor comes along and they have this great conversation at the beginning of the Odyssey, which is still the defining story of the Western world. What's interesting is when Mentor speaks, it says right there in the Odyssey, it's Athena speaking through him, and Athena is the goddess of wisdom. And so you can pull out of that the notion that when mentoring is occurring, the goddess of wisdom, Athena, is brought into the situation. And in a mentoring situation, both the one doing the mentoring and the one being mentored can both be more wise than they would otherwise be, because the two of them talking brings the divine inspiration of Athena into the situation. So mentoring is also about developing a conversation that's more about wisdom than it is about knowledge, and that's more about correcting culture than it is simply about the individual.